If you are a NEET aspirant and you are not very great at managing time, or if you want to improve your time management, especially when you're writing the examination in the examination hall, then what do you have to do before that? That's what we're going to see today in this particular video. I welcome you all to this particular video, and I'm Dr. Vaishali, Academic Specialist at Biotechnica. Today we are going to see the top 10 smart time-saving examination tips for NEET aspirants. So Biotechnica is a space where we guide you in anything and everything regarding your bioscience career. Come, let's explore the topic. So the first tip that we're going to see is about online tests, right? So how you have to prepare in the online test, or how you have to do online test in order for you to save or manage time in the examinations. So that's what we're going to see. So firstly, you need to, these online tests, whenever you're giving, that is the mock test or even the practice questions that you do, what are they going to help you in? They're going to help you to learn how to approach a question, right? Because not every question, is easy, or, you know how to approach it, but then it's different for every question. So and that's how they set the difficulty level as well. So it's important for you to know how you can approach the question, which is the factor that you need to take first into consideration, and which is it that you have to neglect in the question, right? So all of this you will get only through practice. And secondly, it also helps in reducing your chances of making silly errors, because you keep giving online tests, and that's going to, and you keep reviewing it as well. So it's not just about giving a test, it's also about after the test, you review the test, right? You see where you went wrong and what is it that you can improve on. So, and then you take that feedback and then you implement it in your next test, right? That's how you improve in yourself while you're giving online test. So when you're reviewing and you're implementing the feedbacks as well, it's going to help in reducing your chances of making these silly errors, right? Thirdly, it's about previous year question papers. So you need to also solve the previous year question papers, because they have the exact, the blueprint of how your question paper will be, how the questions will be. So solving the previous year questions in the form of online tests is also important, right? So after online test, the second tip that I have for all of you is to solve different types of questions and from different chapters, right? So say for example, you have completed one chapter and then you're trying to solve questions only from that particular chapter. Your mind gets tuned that way, right? But what happens in examination? Examination is not the same, right? Because you have questions from different chapters, right? So, and even if the questions are from same chapter, they may not be like one after the other. They might be in a totally different page or totally different question altogether, right? So you get conditioned to solve only one only from one particular topic if you're going to solve single type of questions, but the examination is not going to be the same. So you need to train your mind to move from one topic to another topic, so that you will get only by solving different types of questions from different chapters, right? So don't make your mind get trained only to particular types of questions or particular topic alone at a time, right? You need to give that condition to your brain that you might get different topics or you might get different types of questions, but you need to solve them as well. So that is what you need to tell your mind. So that was the second tip I had for you. The third tip is don't try to solve everything, right? Especially in the examination, you don't have to solve every question, because keep in mind that you have negative marking as well. So if at all you try to solve everything and then you end up solving it wrong, but just because you have spent so much time on that particular question, you get tempted to guess, and you try to guess and then give some answer, and that might turn out wrong, and because of that you will get your negative marking. So all the hard work that you've put in to get the answer right is going to go in vain because you've got your negative mark as well. So it's important for you to work on your accuracy, than on completing the paper or completing, all the questions in the paper. So you need to work on your accuracy. That is, if at all you pick one particular question, what is the probability that it'll go right? Right? So that is what accuracy is, and that is what you should try working on, especially during your preparation. The fourth point that I have for all of you is learn the art of approaching a question, because like how we just saw in our first point that you need to learn to approach, how to approach questions, because the questions can be of different types, and based on your strength, right, of that particular topic, you might or might not know the answer as well. So how do you approach questions, right? So one is through elimination. That is, you eliminate the most unobvious answers, and then you go and work on the obvious, or the answers that you feel might be right, so you work on them. So that is one way of approaching a question. The second way is to taking a scientific guess. So keep in mind that it is not taking any guess. See, in the question paper especially, you might not know the answer for every question out there, but you might have to, take a few guesses for a few questions, because otherwise you might not get that extra edge. So you will eventually, from the question paper, try and answer few questions which you don't definitely know the answer for. And while attempting such questions, how do you guess the answer? So that guess has to be a scientific guess. It cannot be any guess that you do. It has to be scientifically, you need to do eliminate and then come to the right answer. Thirdly, you can also skip the question altogether if you think that it might lead to negative marking, especially if you're not confident about that particular question. So each question will have different approach to it based on your strength and based on the topic or the type of question it is. So it's important for you to learn the art of approaching these questions well before the examination itself, because on the exam date you cannot sit and try to see how to do it, right? So you need to practice it well before the examination through all the practice questions and the online tests that you take. So that's how you learn the art of approaching question. The fifth tip that I have for you is do not neglect theory, right? So obviously all of you have a lot of numericals as well to solve, and few students, they just concentrate purely on numerical and they tend to neglect theory. But this is not the right approach to go, because theoretical questions, they require less time than numericals. So remember that in your question paper it could be a mix of both theory and numericals. So if you're going to go only for the numerical part of it and you do not take care of the theory, then you can't answer the theoretical question. But the theoretical question might be way easier than the numerical, and you might spend very less time for it, and second, it's very easy to know the answer, but you missed that particular fruit because you did not read the theory. So that's how you should not neglect theory, and you should give some weightage in your preparation time for theoretical questions as well. And secondly, the importance of theory is that even for numericals, the theoretical part is important. Without knowing the theory or the fundamental behind that particular numerical, you cannot solve it. So that's when the theory also is important, and this gives you an extra edge over other students as well, right? So that's the importance of theory, guys. The next tip that I have, the sixth tip that I have for all of you, is the questions to answer first, especially on the examination day, right? So it's important for you to first answer the easier questions that is there in the question paper, because this ensures that your marks is secure. So there will be a part of the question paper which you know the answer for sure in the question paper. So go ahead and first finish those answers, mark all of those answers and keep them sure thing, because that's going to secure your marks. And once you do that, it's going to boost your self-confidence as well, because you've already completed all of these questions and you know that these many marks are secure for you. And then you come back to the medium and the difficult questions, and then you try to spend more time on it and try to solve them, right? So that is how you go about and answer the question. So this cannot come again on the exam day itself. You need to practice well before the examination, especially in your online test. Try to take online test and try to follow all of these tips that we have just discussed, and then take review, take feedback, and then work on it in your next test, right? So that's how you're going to improve on the examination day as well. The seventh tip I have for you is learn shortcut methods, right? Because in the examination, during the examination, you might not have enough time to do the traditional methods. So try to learn the shortcuts methods. This will help you in solving the tougher questions more quickly. And also it's important for you to practice beforehand, because you cannot go there and all of a sudden try to put in the shortcut method and try to solve it. So make sure that you practice all of these beforehand, well before the examination. Now, after this, the eighth point that I have for you is stimulate the exam-like environment, right? So before you give the examination, it's important for you to have that idea about how the examination hall and how that particular setup will be, right? How will the noise around be? How will, what kind of bench or what kind of how many hours will be there, how will the invigilator react, and so all of these you need to have that in mind. So what you need to do is, before exams, whenever you're giving mock tests, right, you need to stimulate that kind of environment, right? So you have to sit with your paper and your pen, and you have to start solving the questions, and then you need to stimulate such an environment, such a peaceful or whatever noise that can be there. So you should not sit in a fully peaceful environment, because then your mind will get trained to that particular environment, and in the examination hall, even the smallest of noise will get you distracted. So yes, stimulate exam-like environment whenever you're taking mock test, and that will help you in feeling less nervousness during the examination day, right? So that is the eighth tip that I had for all of you. The ninth tip is align your biological clock. That is, for example, you are somebody who likes to study at night and not in the morning, then you need to change that, especially when you're nearing the examination. Maybe during your peak preparation time and everything, it's fine, but then just a few months before the examination, make sure to align your biological clock. Make sure to have your sufficient sleep at night and study only during the morning hours, because if you're studying at late night or at night, what happens is you get used to the quietness of the night time, right? Because the night time is going to be very peaceful and quiet, and you have full focus in your studies, and your mind will get trained to that. Now, once that happens in the examination hall, what will happen is, because in the exam it's going to be a daytime, and there's going to be a lot of noise around, right? And you won't be able to concentrate fully, and you will get distracted during the examination day. So it's important for you to train your mind to this particular time of your day, that is to increase the productivity of your mind. It's important for you to align yourself with the biological clock, right? So that's the ninth point I had for all of you. And the 10th point is nothing but conclusion, right? So I have discussed around 9 points that is important, that is a smart way of time-saving examination tips for all the NEET aspirants out there. If you have any more points that I have missed, or any more point that you feel is important, let us know in the comment section below. We're really happy to listen to your insights as well. Thank you so much, and see you all until next video.